Yeah, it's time for a little different take on the video that I'm accustomed producing. Yeah, let's just address some of this LGBTQ shit that's going on. Yeah, for all the heterosexual people out here, we know that it has gotten too far. Things are going too far, off into the deep end. Now, you got a lot of these transsexual people coming out talking about the black community, this and that. Are we not being accepting towards them and all that? Let me set the record straight. We're never going to accept you as a heterosexual black man. We're never going to be friends. We can only tolerate each other. That's the best you can hope for. See, the thing with these LGBTQ people, really, you can leave the bi as a heterosexual man. You can leave the bisexual women out of this. Hell, you can leave the gay women out of this. Because if you're a heterosexual man, you're going to be biased. And you're going to be kind of still cool with bisexual women and gay women because you're a man and they're not really a threat to anything you got going on in your daily living. However, you got transsexuals and you got queer, I guess. I guess those are the adversaries then, the main adversaries of a heterosexual man and vice versa. Well, I would say even heterosexual women probably would have a problem with gay men and bi men because the consequences is more damaging for a woman dealing with those kind of men. You know, STD department and whatnot, and you know. But back to what I'm about to put forth out here. Yeah, a lot of these transsexuals and some gay women, I guess, would say, because if they feminists. Well, hell, you can just throw it all the alphabets back to this discussion, depending on how feminist they are. Some call them feminazis, whatever. That mindset that a man ain't about nothing and they can do it better than us. But yeah, you know, over the years, I've just been pondering about these alphabet folks, you know, the rainbow alphabet folks. And they keep talking about there's no acceptance. Now, it's like no matter how nice you treat these people as a heterosexual male or heterosexual woman, they still keep complaining. And you gotta ask yourself, why they keep complaining? But I came to the conclusion that they keep complaining because we're not participating. And that's where I say, and why I say, that heterosexuals and homosexuals and LGBTQ people, whatever, we're not really going to get along. We're not really going to be friends. We're not going to be buddy-buddy with each other because our two ideologies are in direct conflict with each other. It's impossible in a logical sense. The best we can do is tolerate each other. So we keep hearing these things about tolerance, but it's not about tolerance. It's about participation. It's not about acceptance. It's about participation. That's what Gabrielle Union and people like her, Dwayne Wade, and all these folks out here, that's what they really want to say. Why you people, you heterosexuals, they want to give us a name called cisgender and all this shit to try to shame us and to participate. That's really what it comes down to, participation. That's all it is. Why you people are not participating. Y'all say y'all accept this lifestyle, but y'all not participating. Y'all not going on dates with us and sleeping with us, allowing us to have sex with you and all this stuff. But that's the thing, though. If you're an LGBTQ person and I'm a heterosexual, why would I participate in what you're doing? But then you bring that topic up to them, they'll try to deny it and say that's not what they're asking, but that's really what they're asking. Because what's the complaint? You know, you're talking to them, you're interacting with these people, you're cordial with them, and that's not enough because they want participation. That's what they want, and that's not happening if you're a heterosexual person. A true heterosexual person don't bend. It's not even an effort. It's like, you know, you can have a dude spread eagle. You're a heterosexual man, you ain't sticking nothing in, and you ain't allowing nothing to be stuck in. You know, you would take offense to that. It's like you got a lot of these rainbow folks out here. They want to force the issue, man. That's a form of rape. What Gabrielle Union and D Wade is doing, I call that societal rape. I coined that phrase just now. So somebody want to use it, hey, by all means. That's what these people are doing. You know, they socially raping people. You know, they don't want to say it because they know people are gonna wake up. You know, and you know, heterosexual people in particular are gonna wake up and see what's going on. You know, you got these black parents, two black parents, one a stepmother and one a real father, trying to tell us that their child is transsexual, a transsexual girl or whatever, knowing that as a child, before you reach puberty, you know, you kind of, a boy is kind of like, I won't say a boy is a girl before you reach puberty, but his gender is not, he hasn't really stepped into his male gender yet, because when puberty hit, all those chemical processes, you know, your human transformation, where you was meant to become, starts to finalize. You know, that's when you start feeling like a male. You know, you stop all that crying and stuff like that. For the most part, you know, you become less sensitive to things that you were sensitive to as a boy. You know, so that's why when puberty hits, there's a very distinct difference between a male strength and a female strength. As a boy, you know, boys and girls are pretty on par physically. I know. I got into a fight with a girl. I was around 6. She was pretty damn tough. It was a tie. You know, but once puberty hit, I pretty much can obliterate her in a physical fight. And I'm not saying that to boast and brag. I'm just saying that to illustrate a stark difference between male and female on a physical level. That's just on the physical level. So it's like you got these strange people in high places. Yeah, I'm gonna say it, Caucasian mainly, pushing these agendas. You know, they trying to make it to where black people don't procreate as much. And you know, it may work a little bit, but not really. You know, because little do they know, you can't really force a preference into a person. You can only get a person who's leaning in those LGBTQ tendencies anyway. You know, that's why you have men in prison. They would be in prison for many years, and they're still heterosexual. You know, it's like you You can't get everybody. You can only get people who are leaning in that direction. You can kind of turn them out. Because even if you get a guy or a woman and then have them dabble in homosexuality, if it's not really in them, they're just going to fall back to heterosexual sex and heterosexual relationships because that's what they lean towards. So, you know, in a sense, you can kind of say just the effort of these strange folks in high places, white supremacists, you know, buck breakers, you know, colonizers, you name it. It's not really going to work well for them. It's going to cause a lot of extra turmoil between human beings. You know, you're trying to force agendas on people, man. That alone causes resistance. It doesn't cause acceptance. And really, man, these rainbow people, man, y'all need to be comfortable. Y'all need to learn to accept that true heterosexual people are not going to give you what you want. They're not going to allow themselves to be sexually attracted to you. Not even that they got to try to resist it. They're not gonna see it your way. We're not gonna get curious. And even if some of us do get curious, we're not gonna be drawn to you in a permanent sense. Like somebody just tried you out and didn't like it and fell right back to heterosexuality because that's who they are. You know, so all these people out here, man, you know, y'all being advocates. You know, you're having these people push this stuff on our youth in school and all that stuff, man. It's not going to go well for society. You're going to cause more rifts. And y'all talking about people killing rainbow people out here. It's going to really become that because once you start backing heterosexual people into a corner, you ain't going to have no choice but to lash out to defend ourselves. You know, see, a lot of you rainbow people, you guys are pretty much civilized, quote unquote, for now, because your numbers is low. You know, but once y'all numbers get higher, if they do, probably will, then y'all gonna start approaching heterosexual people, and that's gonna cause a problem. Y'all gonna start approaching us, trying to go on dates and, you know, stuff like that. I got to deal with anyway on these dating sites, which is a real drag, having to siphon through a bunch of transsexuals posing as women. And that's really fucked up because your gender is female and guys is looking for female, the heterosexual obviously. So what you there for? Why are you a transsexual woman in the female section where guys is looking for females? The heterosexual males looking for heterosexual women, but you're crowbarring yourself in our environment. That causes drama and conflict. So you got these rainbow people out here talking about they don't want nobody and we just want to live our life. That's not true. If you feel like a woman as a man and you believe you're a woman, you're not going to want another gay person who feel like you. You're going to want a heterosexual man because you feel like you're a real woman. So you can stop the damn cap. Y'all can stop that damn cap talking about y'all don't want a heterosexual person. Yes, y'all do. But that's the poison that happens. Once you get this heterosexual guy, you convert him, change his leanings a little bit to sway to your side, then you don't want him no more because now he's like you. So you move on to another heterosexual person. Wash, rinse, and repeat. That's what I'm saying, man. You got people out here, you heterosexual, y'all need to stand up and understand, man, this is not going to go well for us in the long run. You know, our two ideologies, rainbow and heterosexual, it doesn't mesh. It doesn't mesh. It's no harmony. It's not harmonious. You know, it's basically like a ceasefire. Any kind of neutral or indifference towards each other, it's just a ceasefire. It's just a tolerance. It's never going to be no harmonious interactions between us. So long as you know, our sexual preferences are just starkly contrasted, which they are and which they will be. Yeah, you know, heterosexuals and homosexuals been dealing with this for a very long time, for eons, maybe hundreds, thousands of years. You haven't went nowhere. There's no traction. There's no harmonious traction. You know, we call it civilization. Don't be fooled by the technology. The technology don't make us civilized. Just make us more advanced. You know, it gives us more knowledge, but it doesn't change the human nature of a person. You know, it would have been easier hundreds of thousands of years ago to really get along if it was going to work between gays and straights. It didn't work in Rome. It didn't work in Greece. It ain't gonna work now. You know. So you know you got these white supremacists on top in high places coming up with these schemes to slow down birth rates. Man, that shit ain't gonna work. It's minuscule. The effects are minuscule. There's still far too many heterosexual people in the world, heterosexual black people. You think you're gonna stop black people, black men for wanting to have sex with women? Because it's not just about having sex. Yeah, the sexual act, it feels good. It's about an emotional connection. You know, a man, no matter how much he feels like a woman, it's not a woman, man. You know, now in the future, maybe you can grow some human beings in a lab, you know, and transfer brains. Hey, now you might be cooking with grease, as they say. Might have something. If you can actually transplant the consciousness of a man into a bona fide woman's body, and vice versa, hey, you might have something there. Because then it wouldn't matter, because you know, the person will be able to procreate and all this stuff, you know. So that's some advanced science for you, but you can't come half done trying to convince anybody of anything. You know, you got men out here like me. We want to actually have families. You know, we don't want no two men. You know, you got two men in the house. What is that? You know, two women in the house. What is that? You know. So I'm just saying, folks, you can't be going with everything that's going on out here. You know, they got these two black people, Gabrielle and D. Wade, you know, being advocates for something that's being pushed on them by white society. And probably, maybe D. Wade, he's a gay man in disguise in his own right. But people like to say, well, that's his child and he can do what he wants. Well, yeah, but as you can see, that speech they gave, are they pushing that agenda on everybody else? It's not enough that, you know, their own child is quote unquote cool with that lifestyle. It's not enough. It's never enough. You know, like I said earlier in this video, it's about participation. They want us to participate, us being the heterosexual class, and they're part of society. But that's not going to happen. Not in the numbers they want it to happen. Because it can't happen. It's not logical for it to happen. So, it's just basically, trying to, these white folks in high places trying to slow down the birth rates is it's not really very effective. It's a minuscule attempt because you got 95% of the human race is heterosexual. Our creator, our universe, who was our God, had all this stuff calculated. God wants us to procreate. It's important that we procreate. That's why sex feels so good. Ever think about that, folks? How sex feels so good? If sex didn't feel so good, you wouldn't really want to procreate. Procreation will really be up to a real logical thought process if sex didn't feel so good. But you got a lot of these guys who are gay. They want other heterosexual men to sleep with them. But a heterosexual man, he knows what that entails, Nobody want to say what that entails. Inserting your penis into a shitty orifice. It's not only unsanitary, it's nasty. You can wear a condom and all that stuff, but on one hand, you got a woman who has the same shitty orifice. Yes, the language is gruesome, folks, but hey, it is what it is. And she actually has a vagina, which accommodates a male's penis. It's an environment where the penis functions well inside, and it brings pleasure and it brings new life into the world. So you have lesbian women out here, they don't want to deal with the male, but then they'll use dildos and things like that, strap-ons, or they'll lick each other and all this. So it's like a cheap substitute. You got men out here, man. It's not toxic masculinity. You just got the male persona, the male personality that just he connects well with feminine women, feminine energy. The idea of feminism. So you would have two gay men. One of the men is more masculine, and one of them is more feminine. Like, what's the point of being gay if one of the partners is going to mimic the woman, the feminine energy? See where I'm going with this, folks? You got lesbians. You got a butch, they call her the butch dyke. And then you got the more feminine, they call her the femme. These two pairs of models, they're like cheap substitutes. I don't care who gets offended by what I'm saying. It is what it is. You don't have two butch dykes being together, and you don't have two masculine men being together, and you don't have two femmes being together, and you don't have two soft or feminine guys being together. So what's really going on here? Why should a heterosexual man or woman want to enter into a relationship or sexual encounter with someone who's a cheap imitation? Why go for the cheap imitation when you had a real thing, the more superior design that our creator, our universe created? Yes, folks, God is our universe. The infinite black, the infinite expanse. Nothing could be born inside the universe and be all-knowing because it will have a beginning. So that's why I come to the conclusion that our universe is God, the order of law and order, the creator of logic itself, sentient, because law and order is deliberate. Law and order must be maintained. Laws of reality, physics they call it. That's a deliberate process. Chaos is random. Or some might say chaos is really law spread throughout a certain amount of time. You can find the patterns. So who can say chaos is really chaos? If you span chaos of a system for trillions of years, you may find a pattern in it. Hence, the Alpha and Omega, God has always existed, always will be here. And we are inside of God and can't escape God. Can't step outside of infinity to look at the face of eternity. That's impossible. So here we are. So on that note, folks, I'm going to leave this one off. Signing off.